Hi, I'm Cindy Jerome. I'm the Executive Director of Holton Home and of Bradley House. We're starting the Bradley House Revival. We're building an addition with a new dining room overlooking the Connecticut River and Mount Wantasticate, a new kitchen, and 15 new resident rooms over 2 floors. Then we're going to renovate this beautiful mansion, restore the gem that it is, and also make sure that the inside has wider hallways and everyone has a private accessible bathroom. It's going to be wonderful. And now the groundbreaking. I bet every one of you here knows that it takes many people, many hands and hearts to make a project of this size happen. That's certainly been true for us, so I have a lot of people to thank. Let's start close to home. The Bradley House residents, some here, some on the porch, some looking out windows. You have been cheering us on, even when you had to say goodbye to a beautiful tree last week and some other trees that weren't so pretty, but still. And you know there's going to be inconvenience and noise and dust and you'll need to move and so forth. But nobody will have to leave Bradley House. That's why we're doing it in 2 phases. And thank you. Thank you for your patience and understanding. The Bradley House staff, who love this home deeply and have made sure that we will not lose what makes Bradley House so wonderful. But what makes Bradley House so wonderful isn't the building, it's the people who live and work here and the family that we've created. That's what we'll hold on to, and being in a new building and having that family is going to feel good. So thank you to the staff. The Holton Home Board of Directors. Board President Linda Rice is here and other board members who were able to make it today. I saw Jill Brem, Kathy Coonan, Alan Hansel, Lee Madden, Chris McDermott, and Andy Reichsman, who has the camera. He's a filmmaker. Thank you, Andy, for filming today. And Ted Vogt are here. Thank you to the board. Stevens and Associates Architects. Our funding required that we go out to bid for our architectural services. Stevens and Associates stretched way beyond the point of profit to ensure that they were the low bid and that we could use our own hometown experts in renovating beautiful old buildings. Bob, where are you? I've lost you there. The Brooks House, their project is just awe-inspiring, and we wanted the same loving care for Bradley House that we see there, and that's exactly what we're getting. President and founder Bob Stevens was involved from the beginning, using his vast experience to ensure we were on the right path. But the day-to-day nitty-gritty work, I give all credit to our primary architect, John Sicoscio. He has made it clear this is a labor of love, and it shows in what he's designed and in how he works with us. So thank you, John. The town of Brattleboro. Town manager Peter Elwell, assistant town manager Patrick Moreland. Each have the conviction that Bradley House is an important community resource that must survive and be sustainable. They've been instrumental in our success, including applying for and getting a critical Vermont Community Development Program grant that goes through the town. And they've also shepherded through the largest grant given by the town of Brattleboro to a community project in well over a decade. The town's commitment of $50,000 speaks to the importance of Bradley House and helped leverage other funds. Thank you. I must single out Cindy Reed, Director of Development at Cathedral Square Corporation, a major senior housing and organization and developer based in Burlington. Holton Home Crosstown has done several $1 million worth of work on that building, but we've spread it over 15 years and used almost no public funding. Cindy is an expert at the public funding side, which we were not, and she is the reason we've received such phenomenal support. more than $1 million in grants and another $3.5 million in low-interest loans. I'm so grateful to her for making it all happen and especially coaching me through every task, of which there are quite a few, I'll say, when you're dealing with public money. Thank you, Cindy. Then there are the good folks at the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board and the Vermont Community Development Program, each of which gave us grants of about $500,000, and each was a huge shot in the arm. Thank you. Vermont Housing Finance Agency doing our primary construction loan, and Commons Energy with the National Housing Trust, our secondary construction loan. Many thanks to them. Andrew's here, and there you are, John. Great, good to see you. USDA Rural Development, providing our permanent mortgage financing and helping make sure this project is done right. So thank you. Efficiency Vermont, which has assembled valuable energy efficiency incentives and will be awarding our new addition the designation of high-performing building because it is so green. Thank you, Efficiency Vermont. Hilton Home and Bradley House are contributing several $100,000 to this project, mostly through a capital campaign. We have confidence that our campaign will be successful with the help of a $50,000 challenge grant from our longtime friends at the Thomas Thompson Trust. Watch your mailboxes, you'll be hearing more about that soon. I also want to recognize our contractor, Trumbull Nelson. They just finished Red Clover Commons, the new housing for our friends at Melrose Terrace who got flooded by Irene. We've gotten off to a great start with them and look forward to working with them. Thank you, Dave and Bruce. We chose the name Bradley House Revival for this project, in part as a tip of the hat to our roots as the Vermont Baptist home, starting in 1964. But it does seem that Providence has shown on us. We got every grant we applied for, no matter how competitive. So many of you gathered here today have played a crucial role in moving the revival forward. You know that Bradley House is a gem. You got to step inside before you go and see some of the gorgeous historic areas. And it's going to get done. It's going to get polished, this beautiful old gem. Thank you, every one of you, because it's taking all of us to make this happen. Thank you. We have a very special guest here today, and we would love to invite him to say a few words. Governor Phil Scott.
Well, thank you very much. Really a pleasure to be here today, and the good news is it's raining very hard up in Montpelier, and it's very nice here. Might be a little cool, but it's not raining. I just want to recognize Commissioner Buckley. Katie is here today as part of our team. We've assembled, since I became elected, we've assembled a great team. We stole one of the USDA folks as well, and he is now Ted Brady is now our Secretary of Economic Development. So I've been to a lot of these with Ted over the years, and really great projects that are done by USDA and many, many others who are pulling together in the same direction. So when I became elected on my first day in office, I issued an executive order, and one of the good executive orders, by the way. One of those that said, directed our administration to look at three very simple guiding principles to make sure that we make Vermont more affordable, that we grow the economy, and we take care of the most vulnerable. And in any sense of the word, what housing is a big part of that. And what I look for is ways we can work together. And when we see the dysfunction in Washington, the polarization there, I think we can do better in Vermont. So whether you're a Republican or Democrat or progressive or independent, I think all of us understand that we need more affordable housing. And if we all agree that we want that, there's no reason we can't accomplish it. So I look at this project as a part of the process where everyone is pulling together. You listed all the partners in this, and everyone pulling the same direction. And that's an example of what we can accomplish here in Vermont, throughout Vermont. So I thank you for your efforts. I thank all of you for your input and pulling your piece of that together. So I just congratulate you. Look forward to the day when we cut the ribbon for the renovation here. As well, I was in the construction business myself for over 30 years, so I'm glad to see they brought my shovel here as well. But I, again, congratulate you on what you've accomplished thus far and look forward to the project when it's finished. Thank you very much, Cindy.
We have with us today Martin Hahn, who's the Director of Housing Programs for the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board, and he'll say a few words.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Martin Hahn. I'm with the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board. We are one of the many donors and investors into this project. VHCB receives funds from the state of Vermont, and are about to enter into our 30th year of operation. We've made a lot of investments in Brattleboro area, including the Thurber Farm, the building of the trail along the West River, the Brattleboro Retreat Farm, and the housing on the top floors of the downtown cooperative. I'd like to recognize two VHCB board members who are here, Tom Yan and Josh Laughlin. Can you thank you for your great work. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Governor Scott for his leadership and vision in promoting a $35 million bond for investing in affordable and workforce housing. And also State Senator Becca Ballant as a champion in the State House. Thank you, Governor. Last week, Vermont Public Radio's news host Jane Lindholm interviewed Philip Langdon, the author of Within Walking Distance, Creating Livable Communities for All. In his book, he profiled 6 communities, including Brattleboro, and cited the strong community ties that come from having a compact town with no, what he called, missing teeth. That is, there are no gaps where buildings and homes have been removed or destroyed and not replaced. The successful redevelopment or revival of the Bradley home as a structure and as a home epitomizes Brattleboro's achievements as a walkable, livable community, as recognized by Mr. Langdon and many others. The project will, 1, support seniors staying in the community as our neighbors. 2, it restores an architectural jewel. And lastly, it helps build a strong institution around Bradley House and Holton Homes to provide quality housing and services for many generations. This is an exciting time to be at a groundbreaking, more exciting in some ways than at the ribbon cutting, because we're in anticipation of what you've been working on for years. Who needs to be thanked? I cannot list them like Cindy did, but I will say we have the carpenters and the electricians and the plumbers and the landscapers. We have the architects and the planners. We have neighbors. We have your development review board, your planning commission, your town manager. We have leadership and donors and support staff at Holton Homes and at Cathedral Square Corporation. And lastly, the residents, the families, the staff, and the volunteers at Holton Homes. And everyone here, you're deserving of recognition and gratitude. Thank you.
Are there any other dignitaries or anybody who would like to say a few words before we break ground? Anybody else? Okay. Well, I would like to call up the following people. We've got enough shovels. There have been a lot of people part of this. So Linda Rice, president of our board of directors, please come pick a shovel. Peter Elwell, will you come to represent the town? Thank you. Governor Scott, I don't know if the key's in the ignition. You may just need to go with a regular shovel there. John Sacosio, will you join us? John Muse, still here? Yes. Please, John. John's the Vermont and New Hampshire Acting State Director at USDA Rural Development. Sarah Carpenter, Executive Director of the Vermont Housing Finance Agency. Will you come grab a shovel? Brian Pine from Commons Energy. Thank you. Martin Hahn from Vermont Housing and Conservation Board, Director of Housing Programs. And Katie Buckley, please, from Guilford, from Vermont Community Development Program. She's the Commissioner of the Department of Housing and Community Development. Stephen Spat, Sufficiency Vermont Residential Energy Consultant, will you join us? And Cindy Reed, please, Cathedral Square Director of Development. Are we supposed to line up so they can do pictures? Can we make a big line across here?
We'll follow
Shoulder
you.
to shoulder, come on.
All right, over here.
All right. You have enough space?
Everybody in.
This is going to take some pictures of us. Okay, let's break ground. All right, and smile for the cameras. Wow, not much, huh? Thank you, one and all. Thank you.